Welcome everybody. Wow, freaking voice crack. We're gonna be doing molten core. So to get the molten core, you need to talk to Luthus Riftwalker down here below. And you need to hit. Well, don't get the quest doesn't matter, but you need to talk to him and be like, "Yo, port me to molten core, dog." Word up. What's up? What's good, homie? Yeah, so he's down there, molten core, blah blah blah. You talk to the elf, and you say, "Port me to the molten core." You used to have to go through the entrance. You used to have to go through Black Rock Mountain, or what's that dungeon called? God damn it, I can't even think right now. I'm trying to talk. Used to have to go through Black Rock Depths. And yeah, you used to have to go through Black Rock Depths and go all the way down to that entrance I showed you while we were soloing it. But they changed that. I think in Mist of Pandaria, I think they changed it so you don't have to get the attunement quest anymore. You can just talk to him and port you right here. And so yeah, we have a friend. Some of you added me. Shout out, because you might watch this, might not. I don't know. His name is, what's his name? Mr. Trey Lord, and he's on Chaminunts on Area 52, and he's actually a Guardian Druid, so shout out to my freaking Guardian Druid pals. So yeah, this is Molten Core. This is, I think it was actually the first raid released in World of Warcraft. Yeah, I think it was the first one. And it has what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bosses. And it used to be a 40-man raid. You used to have 40 people. 40 people. Think about that. 40 people to do this. 40 people. It was actually stupid to get them. You know how stupid it was to get 40 people to do this? Very stupid. And you know why they don't do it anymore? Because it was stupid. So thankfully, Blizzard has changed that, so we don't actually need 40 people anymore, because that was stupid. And yeah, should never happen again. And then you'd have to. The thing is, there would be no like personal loot or a bunch of loot that drops. There'd only be like six pieces of gear that would drop, like 6 at most pieces of gear that would drop for 40 people. Think about that. You have to somehow divide very little gear for 40 people. It was actually retarded. People who say vanilla was a good expansion and was like the best expansion don't know what they were talking about, because it was awful. Ugh. Could you imagine doing that today? 40 people raiding, let's see, what's one? The freaking, the one with, what's that one? God damn, I can't even think of anything right now because I'm trying to talk too fast. The Hellfire Citadel. Could you imagine doing Hellfire Citadel with 40 people and only a little bit of gear drops, and you have to organize it and like hope that you're lucky enough to get a piece? It's stupid. It's really stupid. So yeah, it was not good. Not good at all. So hey, man, but if any, hey, there we go. Cenarian boots. Wheat. I actually take those. I'll take those. Sure, why not? But yeah, so this is the first boss, Magmadar. He's gonna. Well, actually, no, the first boss was back there, Luciferon. This is the second boss, Magmadar. They're actually in the same room. And but they so you'd have to like hopefully not pull him. This guy would just do like a bunch of curses and stuff to the raid. Him, I forgot what he did. I think it was like AoE fire damage. But you saw those core hounds that were here. You still have to, but you used to have to kill them all at this, like within a certain amount of time, where they just instantly respawn. As you saw, he killed some of them and they kept running back towards us. They were basically on a time limit. They'd all have to die within, like, I think it was a second of each other, like pretty much all at the same time. Otherwise, they would just keep respawning and respawning. So if, just imagine that, trying to coordinate 40 people to kill core hounds at the same time. Okay, could you imagine that? Like, oh man, it was just, ugh. Coordinating that many people to try to kill those core hounds at the same time. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And I'm so glad it is not like that anymore. But we're about to be to the third boss, Gehannes. He puts like a fire curse on you again. There was a lot of curses in this dungeon. I think that curse. I think it does like. I think it either reduced your health by like half, or it was the one that did like damage over time on you. I can't quite remember. He might debuff us here if he doesn't die fast enough. Okay, he died in one shot, so never mind. Night Slayer guys, we can actually use those. Those are rogue only. But yeah, then the gear, the tier pieces that would drop here. You know, normally you get like those little things that you turn into a vendor later on nowadays. If it drops in a raid, you get like a little gear token, and you go and turn it into your respective vendor for your whatever piece of gear you want, or shoulder if your shoulder token dropped, or a headpiece if the headpiece token dropped. Back then, the pieces themselves would drop. So not only is there like only 6 pieces of gear dropping per boss, there is... Oh, shit. So yeah, not only is there a little bit amount of gear dropping, but then the gear that drops you couldn't even use, because it was, you'll see, like watch, Garr will drop something here. See, classes at the bottom, priest only, so only priest could use that if it dropped. So not only do you have to deal with little bit amount of gear dropping, but then you have to hope that it drops, like a piece drops for your class, but then there's probably like there's like 6 other people who you have to compete with, because there's probably like 6 rogues, 6 whatever. So then you have to hope, hey, wait a second, I have to it's just, it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And then you have to hope that your class was good, because there was a lot of classes and specs that people didn't really use, like paladins back in the day. The only reason you'd have a paladin in your raid was to keep spamming your buffs, because you used to have to buff people. And the buffs would run out after 15 minutes. And if people died, you'd have to... Basically they were just there to hope, you know... They were buffing rezzing machine is what they were. I'm actually going to take those. So yeah, we missed... I didn't really talk about these 3 bosses right here. But, so the Garr, the big rock guy that we killed earlier, he would... I think his main ability was he would knock you in the air and you'd take, like, a lot of fall damage. Baron Geddon actually was, like... He probably was the hardest boss in here, honestly. Because he put a debuff on you called Living Bomb, and eventually it would explode, I think, if it ran out or something like that. If you're... So yeah, it would count down. You'd take damage over time, but then... I can't quite remember. It's been a while. But you take damage over time, and then once it ran out, if you were close to somebody, it would kill, like, anybody in the vicinity. So, yeah. It was... And then... Obviously, 40 people, you didn't know really... There wasn't really too many add-ons back then, so you wouldn't really know who had the debuff. So then you had the hope that the person... You'd have to hope that you had 40 people who could actually pay attention. Good luck with that. So just if one guy screwed up, it's just like all over from there. See, like, not even 3 pieces dropped there. What, 2 pieces? 2 pieces dropped for 40 people? Awful. And then there was another boss. That was a boss there, so Farron Harbinger. There's a lot of bosses. We're going fast. Shazra, you can actually look at him now. Actually, no, it doesn't even say what he does. You can't even look at what he did. I think he was just another debuff kind of guy. And then Sulfur and Harbinger, he wouldn't really do too much. He'd just be sort of like do, you know, just basic amount of damage. But he'd have those priests that would heal him up. You actually had to kill the priests first. The priests that were there, like you saw all those little mini versions of him that were there. You actually couldn't kill them unless you killed them first, because they would heal everybody else up. So it was really, you had to have like 4 tanks to tank like a bunch of them, and it was. Ugh. And this guy, Colmag the Incinerator, he just did like more fire damage. And there's a sulfuric ingot, nice. Staff of Dominance. I already have that. This guy would just do, you know, normal amount of damage. But his core ragers wouldn't die. You'd kill them and then they'd just eventually revive and keep attacking you. So you kind of just always had these mobs that you had to just constantly have in the fight. And you'd have to hope that you killed. A lot of the vanilla raids were just all about if you could kill them fast enough before freaking somebody screwed something up. That's how it kind of went. And this guy, again, another guy who has a lot of ads that you have to kill before you kill him. They like put shields on each other and stuff. See, he pretty sure he's like immune while they were all alive. You see, yeah, and he'd curse you and do fire damage, you know. The usual. A lot of the a lot of the boss mechanics weren't very. They weren't very, you know.
You will soon regret the recklessness of your quest.
They weren't very.
I go now to summon the Lord whose house.
What is the word I'm trying to look for? They weren't really good. They sort of just were all the same, and you know, it was
Nevertheless,
kind of just all the same thing, you know. They didn't really have very many different abilities. I don't think Blizzard really knew how to really do raids back then, which you can. Oh no. Okay, we're good. We're good. Almost fell in the lava. We're good though. Which you can tell they do now because all the top raiders who have been raiding since vanilla, like a lot of the top guilds, like Midwinter. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Burning Legion, I think there was one. No, I can't remember. These guys have been raiding since vanilla, and they agree that like raids just keep getting better and better with mechanics and stuff. Like Throne of Thunder, I think, isn't like a lot of the Midwinter players. They say that Throne of Thunder was the best raid in the game. And then the WoD one came out. We don't really talk about WoD, but Blackrock Foundry. A lot of them said that was the best one up to date as well. So I don't think any of them think that like Vanilla and Burning Crusade raids were really that good because they were still learning. Obviously, it was only been out for a couple years, and so they still didn't really, you know, they still didn't really know too much about the raids. And now we're going to face the boss that everybody loves, Ragnaros. Oh yes. We're going to summon Ragnaros. So that guy, the last boss, he's our Major Domo Executus. You don't actually kill him. He kind of gave up and he's just like, haha, I'll summon my boss if you want, and blah blah blah. You can't defeat him, you swine. So now we have to go talk to him, and he's gonna summon Ragnaros for us because he thinks we won't be able to kill him, and he'll just do the job for him. But little does he know, Ragnaros is gonna get one shot. Little does he know. How geared is our friend? He's got some PvP, lots of PvP gear. He's got an heirloom cloak. He's actually got quite a bit of health. I think when he goes in the bear form, he only has 500k, which is actually kind of crazy. And he really, it's not like he's in full raid gear or anything. The Fire Lord and his brothers once held sway over the entire world, mortal. As a servant of the old gods, he fought against me, the Titans, for domination of this planet. Alright. He's basically just talking about how, like, badass Ragnaros is, even though Ragnaros is a chump now. He's a freaking chump. A big fat chump.
Behold, Ragnaros,
the Burrs.
the Fire Lord.
The double Burrs.
He who was ancient when this world was young. Bow before
Oh my god, it's Ragnaros.
Bow before your ending.
He's actually too big. I can't even get him in the screen.
You have awakened me too soon, Executus. What is the meaning of this intrusion? These mortal infidels, my lord. They have invaded your sanctum and seek to steal your secrets. Fool. You allowed these insects to run rampant through the hallowed core. Now you lead them to my very lair? You have failed me, Executus. Justice shall be met indeed. Now,
4,
for
3,
you,
2,
insects,
1.
boldly usurp the power of Ragnaros.
Yeah, Molten Core, Ragnaros down. He used to spawn, he'd spawn a bunch of ads, and then he'd knock you back, which is why a lot of people would say, like, right here. So that way when you got knocked back, you'd get knocked into this rock here. Then he'd do fire damage, like AoE-wide fire damage, stuff like that. It's a pretty good ring. We can actually take that ring. Take that ring for, what's its face? Nope. For PvP, that's right. Couldn't spit that out. I can't, dang it, he's like in my looting area. Get out of here. Get the heck out. I'm trying to delete some stuff out of my inventory. There we go. So I can loot that ring. Give me that ring. Oh, come on, man. Just give me the ring, dude. Oh, gosh, dang it. Okay, screw it. It's not worth it. Screw it. Screw you, dude. And that is Molten Core, everybody. Yes. The big raid that you heard a lot of people, well, maybe not anymore, but, you know, if this was a couple years ago, everybody'd be raving about how Molten Core was so good. Especially all these vanilla fanboys. Yeah, I can tell you one thing, it was not. So, yep, now we're going to go do Blackwing Lair, which was the second raid released. I can't remember with Zul'Gurub. There was other raids too. There's like a Nixia's Lair, which in oh yeah, okay, so I think Blackwing Lair was the second one. And then it went Zul'Gurub, which got changed into a dungeon in Cataclysm, so it's now a dungeon, but we can't even get into it until Cataclysm. And then it got changed, and then there was a Nixia's Lair that got released eventually. That got changed, and it got moved to Wrath of the Lich King. So now it's a Wrath of the Lich King raid. And then they had Naxxramas, which was the actual final. It was the final raid after Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj. And that one got moved to a level 80 Wrath of the Lich King raid as well. So, you know, lots of stuff got removed from vanilla, sadly. So there's only four raids left. But that was Molten Core. On to Blackwing Lair.